Hey everybody, Paul Mac here. I just wanted to show you what I got at the auction. Now this was interesting. These are certainly antiques. There's 4 of them here, and they are old post office doors from an old post office that was obviously either torn down or remodeled. But these are the old doors where you would get your mail. You got a little combination to open the door to get your mail, and then turn that thing. The lock's on this side. But anyway, little decorative antiques. Not much you can do with them these days other than put them on your coffee table and admire them, I guess. Or, you know, if you live in a small town, I guess you could start your own post office as long as no more than 4 people wanted their mail. And I've got an old hoof knife. This one looks like it's still in new condition. It says True Temper. Trimming your horse's hooves, mule hooves, cows, if you want to trim your cow's hooves. It's sharp on. It's got a little hook on it so that you don't actually gouge into the frog or the horse hoof or whatever. And I think you can get the hoof up and just kind of carve it, whittle it out. You've seen farriers do that maybe to your horse or whatever. But I'll tell you something else. These are also really good for whittling spoons, if you're into spoon making. Now they do make a special wood gouge, wood carving knife just for spoons, but I have found myself that these are really handy for scooping out the kind of the dip in the spoon. They're just real handy to carve your own spoon. So get you a good old hoof knife. Also bought a chimney brush for cleaning out your stovepipe, like the stovepipe on my wood burning stove in the workshop there. It basically comes with enough pipes, or sticks, I guess. You screw these together, 3 of them together, screw the brush on the end, and then you can run it down your stovepipe and clean your stovepipe out, get all the creosote off the side so you don't start a pipe fire in there. So brush, very handy. Hey, I got a little barn lantern, a little black barn lantern. It's kind of a no-name. It's probably a generic version. And when I'm looking at these, if I'm going to buy them at the auction or whatever, or flea market, I make sure that the lid still turns, and this one does, and make sure the little wick operator moves, and this one is. It's still even got a wick in there. It's empty. It doesn't really look like it's ever even been used. See, this comes up. That can come out like that. You can take the globe out and clean it this way, put it back in or whatever. But to light it, there's a little lever there you pull up on, and there's a little stay. You can light it right there and then put it back down, and there you go, a barn lantern. These are really handy. They do not pick gasoline in them. No gasoline. That would burn your eyebrows off, burn your hair off, if not much worse. So don't do that. These are meant to run on coal oil, or otherwise known as kerosene. So these use kerosene, and but they're real handy. I keep at least a couple in the workshop. I never know when I'm going to be doing something. You know, flashlights are modern. They're handy, nice to have around. But sometimes you just need a mass of light shining on everything you're doing at night, and this is certainly nice to have around. Plus it runs on kerosene, no batteries, just got to keep buying kerosene. Barn lantern, get one. And also I got another plane. This one is a Stanley. You can see Stanley, made in the USA, and it's the Bailey number 4 plane. This one looks like it's in good shape, has the metal, has a little light rust on it, but nothing that we couldn't take care of. So Stanley plane, Bailey number 4. And I've got a big box of very vintage Avon catalogs for Avon, you know, perfume, cologne, skin moisturizer, whatever. They've been left out in the rain. I don't know how much I can sell them for now. They're going cheaper. And if it rains any second, they'll be even cheaper than that. I was really proud of this purchase here. At the auction there was a huge carpenter's box. Really it was a sawwright's box. He probably worked at a sawmill here in southwest Arkansas. These tools came out of that box. This was back in the day where crosscut saws were used to cut trees. And so he's got a couple of Raker gauges that were used to refurbish teeth that were worn down. Basically you put a file in here and you file down all the teeth until they're flat, and then you resharpen them from there. And this is a Simonds. I've always wanted a Simonds, S-I-M-O-N-D-S, because I believe they made crosscut saws and they happen to make some of the tools for sharpening them. I finally got a Simonds Raker gauge, and this one is a Atkins. Atkins was another name of, I think they made crosscut saw blades and also the tools obviously to sharpen them with. This is an Atkins and Company Excelsior number 5 Raker gauge. And here's another Raker gauge. This one is very simple type, not as complicated as that one. A Sandvik, made in Canada, number 124. And this is just a very simple piece of metal, flat metal that's been bent around, and it actually has a screw and holds a section of a file. That's just a file that this man had broken off and put in here. And basically you can see the saw blade goes in there like that, and you just run it along the top of the teeth, filing the teeth down until they're even, and then you would resharpen it from there. So that's a very basic, very simple Raker gauge. And I was excited to find this. Now I have one of these. It's a modern one. It was, I guess, a mold from a mold of the older ones, but this is the real thing. This is a spider gauge, and this is what was here. I'll show you. You can't see it from there. This is a spider gauge. You can see that? It's just not really a spider. Spider has 6 legs. This has 4. If a saw has good set, meaning the teeth are shaped this one that way, this one that way, the way they're supposed to be shaped, then this will lay flat against that tooth and against the rest of the blade. But, for instance, if it rocks this way, the saw tooth is bent too far that way. If it rocks this way, the saw tooth is bent too far this way. So this is a very simple gauge to be able to tell you if your set is correct on a crosscut saw. And I'm so happy to have one. An old one, an actual old one. Also found a glass cutting tool, Red Devil. I don't know what this part here, the little wheel, little sharp wheel is made of. It's got a little wheel that rotates at the very end. But it's obviously harder than glass because it cuts glass. So this is what you would use to go along cutting glass. And then the glass would fit into these different gauges of different widths of glass, and you can kind of use it to bend it and break it off. So fancy Red Devil, can you see that? Red Devil glass cutter. Look at what was in the box. Cannonball, the sweet mild chew of bright leaf tobacco, hits the spot. These are little pocket ledgers. A lot of times manufacturers that made different things, whether it was tobacco or I don't know, who knows what, they would put out a little farm ledger, and this is what farmers would carry in their pockets. I actually have one that I carry around with me and to write notes or whatever. But you would keep up with what you made that day. My grandpa's ledger, I have it in my office in a little shadow box that has some of his things in it. And there's room to write your notes or whatever you made that day or whatever you did that day, things you wanted to remember as a farmer, and you could keep it in the bib of your overalls here. And then at the end, it has little jokes in it. Not really funny. After a rather exciting date with a charming lady, her escort, a bit anxious, asked, "Do you tell your mother everything you do?" She looked at him and said, "Certainly not. Mother doesn't give a hoot. It's my husband who's so..." Oh, that's a little racy there. Anyway, a Cannonball, farmer's pocket ledger. Avon. You know, they would put cologne in like odd things, the Spirit of St. Louis, airplane, and cars, you know, old cars, the Eiffel Tower. Why'd they do that?